Greetings everyone, welcome to this new build guide. We're gonna take a look at my FrostBitten Gemma. It's been really good, honestly. I'm gonna showcase it here in the beginning, just start this one and it ramps up a little bit. It should be reaching about 5 trillion here on my speed setup. So as you can see, 5 trillion, and we're gonna just do a map real fast to just showcase it. Just do a normal deep space here, and you can decide for yourself if this is something you want to try. The reason why I went with this one after my Arcana build, obviously the Arcana build is reaching like really good numbers, much easier than this one, but it is damage over time build. So every time you hit something, you need to wait for it to get killed by the damage over time, and it doesn't really what this one do. It hits something and it dies, you know, have enough damage with the initial hit, that means you are gonna just kill it outright. So, which is really good. I mean, I like it. So normally what they say is that for a damage over time build to feel as good as a direct damage build like this one, it's about double the DPS for a damage over time build. I would say it's a little bit more, honestly, but yeah. There we have it. Super easy. There's no buttons, it's just you actually moving and picking up loot. Everything is automated in this build, and we're gonna take a look at some key aspects that makes this build actually good. Let's go through our gear first. I'm gonna need to move back and forth a little bit because there's a lot of synergies that are going on, so I apologize in advance for that. What we're stacking is mana. We have 35,000 mana here. We could have more if we just stack some more stats here and there and optimize, but 35,000 mana is a lot because it is essentially our life. As you can see, we have no life, no energy shield almost. That means that 100% of our life or any hit we take is getting hit on our mana. It's very important to reach that 100% cap, and we are getting 100% through our mod here. Damage is taken from mana before life, and we are getting we are getting also from our gloves here. The corroded version is obviously best because otherwise it only goes up to 20%, I think, and you're gonna need to compensate with other things, which I'm gonna take a look at in a bit. We are also getting some from our skill tree here. Which one is it? It is this one. Damage taken from mana before life, and the rest is from our Kismets, which was introduced in this league. So there's this one, Witch Cloak. Damage taken from mana before life. Really good here. If you don't have enough, then you just put in an extra one of these, which I had in the beginning. You can have as many as you want. Actually, you can have 4, plus if you have extra of these Undetermined Fate, then you can have extra ones here. Otherwise, for the Kismets, while we're here, it's just intelligence on the small one. There are some really good ones here that I could not afford here, or I spend my currency on other ones. But the other Kismets is, there's one that is let's see, just write it in here, Sun, and it's this one, Blazing Sun. Really good because we are a steep strike build. It's basically a multi-strike in any other, and we have this one, also very good. We are gonna need to work around this one with mana. There's also one that gives plus to all skills, which is also really good, and it gives some downside, but we don't care about downside because it takes life and energy shield or mana or something like that, which we do not care about because we are regaining all of that too fast anyway. So why are we stacking the things we are stacking on this build? We are stacking mana on every single gear piece here, because it's both our defense and offense. I love that about this build. We are, as soon as we're scaling more of something, we're gaining both defense and offense. I love that kind of thing. It's kind of like Righteous Fire in Path of Exile if you play that. So the more life you have, or the more energy shield you have, the more damage you do. Or at least the old version of it did that, but the newer version is a little bit different. Anyway, Otherwise, our second thing we're stacking is focus blessings. And if I was gonna upgrade something on this build, I would have focus blessing base affix. So you can see here, instead of attack and cast speed and cold resistance, I would have focus blessing there. But those are really expensive. I think you can also get it on the, as an affix here, on base affix here, on these. That would increase our build tremendously, because through our talents we are getting certain stats for each focus blessing we have, and that is just, yeah, it's a lot. Focus blessings are key for this build, so if you are lacking focus blessings, you are gonna do much less damage. So something to think about. Otherwise, as I said, spell burst is also, so every time if I click this manually, you can see that I'm shooting multiple ones here. You can see my spell bursts are 7, and I'm using them up here. It's basically like me shooting out 1 skill is equal to 7 skills, the more spell burst I have. So yeah, we want as many as possible of spell burst as we can fit in here. And otherwise, intelligence also get converted to mana, and it also gives us flat damage. So we have a slate mod that converts intelligence to mana, so please take this one, and it scales very well for our build. So we have intelligence as many places as we can. We have some cost speed because it gets converted through our talent to, I think it's cooldown recovery for our spell burst. So yeah, and chance to deal double damage we want up to 100%, so we get 50 here and 50 on the other scepter, and we are at 100%. Anything over that is useless according to the forum, so please do that. Otherwise, we're gonna fix our resistance, of course, and we are gonna stack frostbitten our those stacks, because every time we do that, we get when we get to 300, we are gonna freeze the enemy, and when a frozen enemy is frozen, it takes more damage, and even after the frozen effect is over, it still calculates as frozen, I believe, and then you still do a ton more damage. So we want these stacks as much as possible, because we eat up those stacks every time we reach 300, so it takes a few stacks and then we have to build them up again. Yeah, and this mod is useless now. I used it before when I did not have the T0s here. Then we have some defensive mods, of course. If you want a good base affix on your chest armor, you want to convert physical damage to cold damage, and we have that here and we have that here. So both those are really good. I managed to squeeze in some extra modifiers here, because mana regeneration rate on this build is the same as life regeneration rate or energy regeneration rate. Oh my god, that word. On any other build, because we are putting 100% of our damage on our mana. That means any mana speed here, I'm not gonna say the word again, is gonna count as our, so as soon as we get a hit, we get it back instantly, because there's so much more bigger numbers on this affix than the life one or the energy shield one, so it's insane. So we get it back instantly. I went for something a little bit different here. I went for a specific mod on our boots. Converts the damage taken lightning damage to from erosion. So if I have 100% here, I don't need to worry about erosion res on any gear, and that basically frees up free affixes on all my other gear, and I can put other good things on those. So I think that one is really good. You can disagree with me if you want to, but that is something that I thought was really good. That means I don't need to be like, it gives me a little bit more freedom to build whatever I want. Levels to our skills is always important for any build, because it's basically before level 30 it's about 12.5% extra damage, and after level 30 it's about 10%, so it's a little bit fall off, but not by much. Deflection is some damage reduction. Is there any other stat here? Obviously elemental pen, because we are doing cold damage. Focus blessing. Yeah, our uniques then. We want certain corrosions on this if we can, of course. It's not cheap. This one as low as we can go because if we have, let's say we have 100% mana and we have 8% here, like it says, that means we get to 80 is 10 levels, then we have 16 more, is 94%. That means the lowest we can get is at 94. So we want to reserve at least 94% of our mana, which means that we are gonna get 12 levels. Anything over that, and then we're gonna just bite in. So if we have 9%, that would be 11 levels, and so on. Then we want spell amplification here, because we are gonna, any extra aura we get is really good, because we are gonna reserve everything on our life, and we can only reserve so much on our life, so any free aura we can get out of this is really good. So obviously it's going to be expensive to get those two mods together. Just skimp on some of these levels at the start, and then just go for spell amplification first, and then get extra here. Obviously we get a lot of good stats here, more regen here, and max mana. For our gloves, it's really good. Cold resistance is obviously good, because that frees up some more slots here, but not the main focus. Main focus here is our damage taken from mana before life. The higher this one is, if you have it at max and this one at max, you can get away with only 2 kismets on your tree if they're 12. So that means you are freeing up 1 kismet slot. But I did not play in until right like yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that with that. So if you're not really high investment, I would suggest that you just put in 1 extra kismet and then start skimping on some mana before life. Make sure it's 100 though. You can check if it's 100 by checking here, and let's see here, where is it? Here, mana damage reduction, 100%. So just click next. Sorry. The second mod we want to look at is additional spell damage for every max mana owned up to 100%. So obviously this is additional spell damage. It's so much stronger than increased. This is multiplicative, and the increase is additive. Additive is nothing compared to additional. Additional is the key word here. It's really strong. It goes from 100 to 150 on the corroded. Obviously, fix your defense first, your main defense. Without 100% of this, the whole build falls apart. So main priority this one. I know some people are using this belt. I didn't use it because I had a candle that kind of bricked it. This one, current mana every time skill is used, and it was not working with a synergy. We're going to take a look at that later. But it basically gives us a metric ton of spell damage. This is increased spell damage, so it's not as strong as, so even if it says 640 here and it says 150 here, this is additional, much stronger than the 640 increased here. Then some other good modifiers. This one doesn't get because it's not at low life, so please don't do my mistake and read it as the opposite here. So it's really good belt, doesn't cost that much, and honestly you don't really need this one, but when I interchange these, I do about the same damage, and also you're gonna need to sacrifice a skill in your skill section later on, which kind of like defeats the purpose. So this is my speed setup. This is pretty much mandatory. I know some people are using steep strike here, or raging slash for more steep strike, because it's basically like multi-strike there also. Some extra strikes out of it, but I did not feel like it was worth it, because it made the whole build less strong. So overall, burst is our key activation here. We want this one. Obviously if you have a better number here is better, but yeah, those cost a lot and not very cost effective. Same with these, good numbers on this, but when you upgrade it, it gives a little bit of a boost, but I would leave these out for leave them at low levels at the start, and then just upgrading them towards the end. So maybe do it to 2 or 3 stars, and then just leave it at that until you have a lot of currency. And yeah, level 21 Moonstrike is obviously the best because you get 1 extra level. Blur Step is just so I can move faster. You can use a movement skill here also. And if you are going for the belt that I showed you, then you would go one of these. Reap here, and then you would go this one. And what this means is that you would need to activate your here, and you would need to run across the boss to do extra damage. Sure, it does some extra damage, but it makes you go right up into the face of the boss, and also you need to remember while you're mapping and stuff like that, that to activate this one. So I did not think it was worth it, but if you're doing the last boss, might be. I just found it very annoying, so I did not play around with it. Secret Order. Cost speeds for each stack of focus blessing. We are stacking a lot of focus blessing, as we're gonna look at it in talents also. We're getting a lot of extra effects from, we're getting 1 curse here, and we are getting 1 curse on our ring here. And because we are having these boosts with erosion, and we don't care about energy shield, we can get some really cool downsides here. So you can see our energy shield is normally very inexpensive, and also erosion rest is very inexpensive as a downside. We don't care about any of those. So please pick up those bases that no one else wants, and you'll be fine. Let's take a look at the skills again. There we go. Otherwise, Icebound, I like this one. We have some auras here depending on our setup. Obviously we're going with swiftness if we are going for the speed build, but if you're not, then you would change this to Thunder Megas, and you can see here I can't reserve. That's why we are using precise seal conversion, and we are gonna put in precise seal conversion here also and activate. There we go. Make sure that this number corresponds with your belt, or sorry, with your amulet, because you do want to fix this. So as you can see here, all of these are here, but I used some that was not precise seal conversion before, because otherwise I would have too much mana, or sorry, too much life. And if I don't reserve all my life, or at least up to, was it 97%, so I could have 4%. Anything under 4% is fine, because otherwise I'm gonna start getting less levels from my necklace. So really good there to think about, and now I'm in my DPS setup. For our candles, I am using 1 speed here, because every time you kill you get more damage and speed and skill area, very good. 1 additional curse. You can get also a Pact Spirit here that gives you 1 additional curse. My Pact Spirits are absolutely atrocious for this build, because I'm not summoned, and I'm basically, I only buy the normal, the season pass each league, so I don't have a lot of Pact Spirits, but you don't need to, because of the Kismets, you can compensate for that. For the other mods we definitely want the blessings mods, because we want maximum blessings. Otherwise this build also falls apart. This one is basically mandatory on any build in this game right now, I feel like. And harden, just to get an extra on the main skill. We get some defense, some more damage. It's really good. We don't care about the downside. For our other candle, if I'm doing bossing, I would use this one. It's with poison relief here, injury buff and additional attack taken at low life, and the elemental damage or elemental resistance is just compensating here. And for our talents, to make this one tick, we are a spell burst build, and you might be wondering, why are we not using spell burst here on Beacon? This one is really strong, and it's actually really much stronger than Winter. That's because we have it on our slate. And this is my suggestion here for your slate, is I have Beacon and Extreme Coldness here. Whatever you have on your slate there, you're gonna need to take the opposite on the talents. So if I have Beacon, or if I have winter on my slate, then I take beacon. So you can have some differentials here. And let's see here. If I have extreme coldness, I have it on my slate right now. But if, let's say I have mind focus, then I would use the other one. So I would just switch. Make sure you have this one though. Mind focus and beacon, I would say, is mandatory. The other two are really, really good. But this one, if we can unswitch here and then go out and try our damage, you will see something. We do no damage because we are converting everything through this one into cold damage. So if we do not take that skill, you're not gonna do anything. So it's very important that you actually read this one, and I did not do that in the beginning, and I was scratching my head, why am I not getting any damage? And then I saw adds. That little word there, cold damage. I thought it was just normal additions to cold damage, but this is like flat cold damage. And we're converting max mana to attack and spell. I mean, and then we're getting the frostbitten stacks here, and we're getting extra effect. We are getting some conversion of our life to mana, so we don't take it directly on our life pool. And frostbitten ratings here, scaling. We are getting focus blessing, and each focus blessing we're getting an extra effects for it. Let's see here. Same thing here, additional spell damage per stack of focus blessing. We are getting tons of extra things from our focus blessing, and but 100% of our cost speed will also convert to spell burst. So every time we get spell burst or cost speed, that's why we stacking cost speed, we're getting back our stacks much faster, and that means we are hitting more often, or every activation is just activating multiple of these. So you can see like they're so fast. Otherwise, for our slates here, we are using as much intelligence as we can get, and obviously mine are pretty good here. We want to have this mod, focus blessing stacks, and we want to have this mod right here, also max focus blessing stacks. These two stack together, so you can have one of each. Max divinity effect, so you cannot have more. So if you have more of these, they're not gonna count. And the same if you're doubling them up through our special slates here also. Also get one of these 3 mana per 8 intelligence, because we are stacking intelligence also, and that is converting to our mana pool, which is more damage, and it's just synergized all over. Otherwise, we don't care about the downside here, because we are converting everything already through our skill. It doesn't matter here. Tested it out. Cost speed on full mana, we are on full mana and max mana, really good mod. This one is probably the best one, 15% intelligence, really good. If you don't have a lot of currency, then just take the, where is it? It's in here, sorry. Take one normal slate, and these are normally really inexpensive, because like 10 or 15 FE to make, or to start off with, and start crafting on them. That's what I started off my build with, and yeah, it turned out pretty good. For hero traits, it's just intelligence, max mana, and movement speed. I like movement speed. You can also take cost speed. Of course, cost speed was going to be more damage. So if you want to do the final boss, you might want to switch to a cost speed one. But honestly, it is quite a lot of cost speed, but I would rather go here. Attack damage, because Moonstrike is an attack. Cold damage, spell damage is also really good. And obviously we want as much cost speed we can on these affixes. If you have a lot of currency, plus 2 hero traits on our affixes here, will boost these hero traits that we already have, and they will do a lot for your final damage. Overall, it's quite an expensive build, so I do not recommend this one for beginners, but you can start as, I know people are using Frost Terra as, let's see if I can find it here. Where is it? Frost Terra is using this one build to start off with. It is kind of like a damage over time build, and you can check it out. There's some people have released guides on it, so you can take a look at it, and I know that you can get, I think they are killing Supreme Showdown level 21 with it also. So it's really good build all around. I found this one more fun though, so I wanted to try it out, and yeah, it's been a good journey so far. And I'm not gonna try level 20 or level 21 because I don't have the patience, and I've already killed it already one time. One time is enough, no more. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you have good luck with this build. Otherwise, leave a comment below and I will try to answer it shortly. Have a good day, everyone.